Have you ever wondered how rich people got rich? How they maintain their wealth? Sure, some of them might have gotten it through their large incomes, but many a time I have sat daydream sometimes, speculating other times, in thinking if it is that they won a big fortune like the lottery, or is it that they have a large inheritance that was passed down onto them? Whatever the secret is or whatever the way is that they got rich, we're going to dive in and unveil some of these secrets that they're not telling us. Maybe they are doing it intentionally, maybe not, but we're going to break apart all the secrecy and find out what it is that is making them rich or maintain their richness or their wealth. Now, stay tuned while we delve into it. Stay tuned for number 3, especially because it might be the very same thing that you are not doing that is keeping those riches from you. So, see you soon. Welcome back to the Next Level Life Hacks, where we take the next steps needed to grow towards our financial freedom and our success. Now, I'm not going to be saying that rich persons hide behind a veil of secrecy and deception. What I'm saying is that there are some things that we might not know. It is being kept secret. As I said before, sometimes intentionally or not, because if you study the world's wealthiest persons and read about them in terms of their nature and their personalities, you would be surprised to find out that many of them, most of them, are introverts. So therefore, it could be that we are not around and they have not been asked the question for them to share what their secrets are. Now, I have done enough research and investigation into their backgrounds to know what it is that they are doing to make them become rich, or it is that they keep on doing these things to maintain their wealth. So the very first one that we're going to be looking at is, and it's going to be a little bit controversial, and it's going to be its financial manipulation and tax avoidance. Some persons might look at it as tax evasion, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt to say they are not evading tax, but rather they are avoiding it. And there's a big difference. Now, it might not be that they are manipulating it in a negative way, because manipulation, many persons look at that word that it has a negative connotation to it. But I am going to be using manipulation to basically mean that in maneuvering and handling their finances, they have learned the best way to do that. Now, let's look at tax avoidance. Many rich persons have taken advantage of offshore accounts. It's not illegal. You have places like Switzerland, the Cayman Islands, and Singapore, just to name a few, that offers a tax haven. And there are significant advantages of saving or doing business in these places that allows you to keep more of the money that you have in your pocket. Now, it's not illegal, as I said before, but the rich are wise enough and they have enough advice from their accountants or their tax advisors to know of the significant advantages of having a savings check-in or having a business name in these countries that allows them to avoid taxes. The other thing that they will do as well is their financial manipulation. And as I said before, it's not negative, it's just smart maneuvering of their finances. So they have been able to set up trusts and foundations, S Corps, LLCs, that has allowed them to operate at a different level that allows them to avoid certain taxes and to write off certain expenses, and it allows them to keep more money in their pocket. As a matter of fact, you as a 9-to-5 W-2 worker, if you are earning the same amount as a business owner, they could very well be going home with more funds in their pocket because of what they're able to write off as an expense. While you as a W-2 9-to-5 worker, you are mandated to pay a specific amount in taxes, and there's no way that you can manipulate or maneuver these amounts. Of course, it is not advisable that you take on these things by yourself, because the process can be intricate and not easily understood. So my advice to you is to get an advisor, whether it be for the taxes or the business structure, and you can contact me because I do have individuals that I can refer you to that will be able to set up these structures for you that you can recognize and realize significant savings. The next thing that the rich persons do is that they learn from their mistakes. I have always said to my son and to my employees that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over but expecting a different result. That's sure insanity. What the rich have learned to do is that once they make a mistake, they don't even term it as a mistake. They term it as a learning experience. So once they go through that learning experience, they make sure they never make that mistake again. As a matter of fact, you have the wealthiest persons who have mentioned that a part of success is knowing when to say no. And most of the time, knowing when to say no comes from experience. So if you have had a bad experience with a business partner or a business venture, then you will know exactly what it is that you should not be doing so you do not repeat that mistake. And by not making these mistakes repeatedly, it has allowed them to keep their wealth in their pockets and being wise in terms of how they spend and how they invest. While us, on the other hand, we might not be learning as fast enough, or we might be taking too much of a risk that we are not taking advice on, and then we are losing money. Valuable funds that can be used to invest in other things that can be multiplied much faster. So though we might get rich in the end, we might take a longer time to get there because we made too many mistakes repeatedly. No, there's nothing wrong in making mistakes, or should I say learning experience. It is that we do not repeat it, because then we are totally insane to be making the same mistake over and over. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Now, the third thing, and remember I said before in my introduction that this might be the very thing that we are doing wrong. It is how they grow the mindset of their children. Now, rich and wealthy persons do not train their children to spend their lifetime in a 9-to-5 or regular job. They teach them a different way in terms of income. The rich teach their children not to trade their time for money, because time is a limited resource. And if it is that you are strictly trading your time for money, then what happens when you have no time to give? What happens when you cannot split yourself and clone yourself? What happens when you get older and you don't have the physical strength to generate the income? How do you get funds to pay your expenses? On the other hand, they teach their children the value of multiple streams of income. They teach them to have cash flow, passive income, semi-passive income, and not to restrict themselves in a 9-to-5 job that really limits you in terms of what you can do and your true earning potential. Look at Robert Kiyosaki. He had to learn from his best friend's father, and that is why he wrote the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, because the teaching from his father is that he should get a good education and get a good job. His father lived a life that allowed him to be much less rich than he could in terms of realizing his true potential for wealth, while his best friend's father, the teaching that he gave Robert, allowed Robert to become a multi-millionaire. And therefore, what it is telling us now is that we need to change how we are bringing up our children, what we tell them and what we teach them. Remember, money education and financial education is not delved into in the school system. Intentionally maybe, unintentional maybe. I am going to say though, I am not going to be allowing my child to grow up with a false sense of the importance of money and how you earn an income. Therefore, change the mindset of our children, because hey, what we are teaching the rich, they are teaching something completely different. They are teaching their children to be business owners and not an employee. The next secret that the rich is keeping, secret, I like to say the word secret because it gives some measure of intrigue to this content, is that they know the value of networking and collaboration. Yes, it is, and I'm not saying that we are going to be abandoning our friends that we have had around from before, but we need to evaluate the circle of friends that we have around us. Are they lifting us up or are they pulling us down? If you are the smartest or the wealthiest one in your circle of friends, then something has to change, because they are pulling from you, but who it is that you are pulling from? You do not know everything, and you need to widen your circle, because there's always something to learn. The most advancement that has been made in business development and wealth growth has come from partnerships and collaboration. Therefore, stop locking away yourself in a vacuum and in a box. You need to get out more and you need to network. Get business ideas and form partnerships with persons who are much more experienced than you in business. As a matter of fact, business ideas are generated around persons of like mind who will grow your development much faster than you would on your own. If you want to get somewhere fast, you do it on your own. But if you want to get farther, you do it with a team. So therefore, improve your networking and collaboration skills. Join a church and not just go to church and leave immediately afterwards. Get involved in the different groups after church or that meet midweek so you can get to know other persons that are business-minded or like-minded like yourself. Join service clubs like the Rotary, the Lions Club. They can introduce you to persons who are business-minded that you can partner with or simply learn from. You would be surprised the things that are dropped in conversations around these persons that you never learned of or you never knew before, and it will open your mind to business opportunities because, hey, these persons are going to share business ideas with those that are closest around them, or just from them speaking to each other, you will be able to pick up some very valuable points from their discussion. The next secret that the rich do is that they look at the market differently and they look at the economy differently than what we do, and they do not fluctuate in terms of the ups and downs as the other person might do. As a matter of fact, when the stock market crashed in 2008, that might have been the most recent boom in the wealth generation from the rich. Because when the market goes down, the rich knows that that is the time to invest. Because stock prices plunge, that's not a time to sell, that's a time to buy. When the housing market crashes, that's a time that they buy, that's not the time that they sell. So what the rich do is that they accumulate their wealth and they sit and wait like a lion to pounce on a gazelle. They are waiting for the right time to invest, that the market turns, that everyone else, maybe me as well, will get flustered, run like Chicken Little and say the sky is falling. No, they have strategically planned for this time and they know it is time to invest. What does that mean for us as well? It means that we are to cut off the frivolous spending, know the essentials from the non-essentials, do our budget, and prepare our capital so that we know when the opportunity arises, we have the ability to capitalize on that opportunity. I've said it many times, success is equal to opportunity plus ability, because if the opportunity arises and you do not have the ability to take advantage of it, then you're not going to be as successful as you could be. So they look at the market and the economy differently. So when others are panicking and they're selling and they're getting flustered and wasting their money, they are hoarding their funds and cash. Cut off the fast food, cut off the buying of name brands, cut off the credit lines that you have accumulated, the credit cards that are outstanding, accumulating high interest, but save your money and wait for the market to turn and then invest so that your wealth can be dramatically multiplied. Now, and just like that, we have unveiled some of the secrets that the wealthy have been keeping, and they have been using them wisely to either get wealthy or to get and maintain their wealth so that they do not have to worry about their financial future. It is something that we can learn as well. It is not something that is only kept for them. It is for us to know about them and put them into practice so we can also be guaranteed, not only us though, but we can also guarantee a good financial future for our children, because the wealth has to continue. Now, as usual, my friends, if you have found at least one thing from this content to be beneficial, please like, comment, subscribe, and share it with someone else who you know might benefit from this content. As usual, thank you for your support, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.